Hey guys, so today I figured I'd do something a little different. Up till now I've not really shown my face on Instagram or YouTube, but thought I might as well give it a go and doing a review of one of my best tools that I use all of the time. Anyone that's followed me on Instagram for any amount of time will see that this has been something that I've featured in so many photos and pocket dumps, gear dumps, EDC sort of snaps and whatever else. But the Leatherman Surge has been my absolute godsend of a tool that I've come to absolutely love over the last year and a half of owning it. So I have up until this week been so impressed with it, and for a year and a half's worth of real grunt and work, it has done me proud. But unfortunately this week I did snap it. No fault of the tool, I probably was using it a little bit badly for trying to undo a screw that was rusted too, and it weren't moving anywhere. I put a little too much force on it. I know that Leatherman will honour the warranty. I explained it to them already, and they have said to just send the tool in. More so than anything, I'm not wanting to be without the tool for any amount of time, so I'm reluctant to just send it in just to get the replacement or the repair, just because I don't want to be without it for any amount of time at all. You will have to excuse me, I keep looking off to the wrong side here because trying to find out where the camera is to where the screen is and everything else. I'm trying out some new lights and bits and bobs, and pretty much this is the second time I'm using the Boya microphone, which I'm hoping the sound quality is a lot better than what I previously did, because before I had it too close to my mouth. So there's a lot of new things being tried here in this tester video, but hopefully it all comes together okay. Anyway, I'll change the angle here and show you a little bit more about the tool. Now I will apologise, you may be able to hear my dog snoring away next to me, but yeah, it's not the most quiet little pug. But anyway, so this is the Surge. You've got the serrated edge, which is brilliant. I found that great for cutting a bit of thin plasterboard, or if you just need to get through some straps or a bit of hardened material, bit of cardboard, opening boxes and bits and bobs. Great tool. You got the plain edge, which I've found recently doing a load of maintenance and labelling units up and things at work. The belly on this knife with a little bit of edge to it, that's been absolutely spot on for getting under a few stickers, peeling the corners up and getting old stickers off, putting new ones on, which doesn't sound like the kind of tool thing you would use this for, but it's something it's certainly come in use for. You've also got the replaceable saw blade there, which that has been used for cutting PVC pipe on plastic drains and things like that. It's gone through a small thin bit of plyboard before now. It's cut plasterboard for me if it's a little bit thicker. Seen a lot of work itself. It does have the replaceable file on there, so that is a great additive on there, and the file's been again brilliant for just cleaning up a bit of copper pipe when I'm doing a bit of brazing work, or like welding or whatever else you want to call it if you don't know what brazing is. But it's a great tool. The Surge being one of the tools that has this replaceable bit on it is so much better just because it has that option on there. Just having one or the other does limit you on what you're going to do if you just have the file or just have the sort of saw blade there, but you can also replace them if they ever wear out. And then last tool on the outside, you've got the scissors, which are more like little shears. They are solid. I've gone through some pretty hefty cardboard with these before. They really do chew through some stuff. They're better than all these little tiny mini ones that you get inside the handles on a lot of the tools. Then you've got the actual main tool itself. Again, seeing a nice bit of patina and wear on there. The cutters, I've gone through everything from tiny little thin cable to I've cut at least 6 or 8 mil cable with that, and it just chews through it without a problem. and having the little crimp tool on the back of there for doing electrical connections at work, that has been a godsend. I'm really chuffed that they put that on there, because if anyone's ever used a proper crimping tool doing electrics before, the actual tools themselves can be a little fiddly, they can get a bit loose over time, they can the actual fittings themselves, the crimp can actually catch in air. There's all sorts of bits and bobs that can happen with that, and it's not ideal, but this thing pinches, it gives you much more of a secure connection than I've ever gotten from any other crimp tool I've ever used, so extremely chuffed with them. Just all round it's just a better tool. You've got your needle nose and your normal pliers. Again, for the actual how wide those teeth go by comparison to some of the smaller tools, Wingmans, the Waves and all the rest of it, they just don't open as wide and you can't grip as many things. I mean, offhand, if you're in the UK, I'll give you a measurement. We are, let's have a look, we are about 45, well, about 43, 44 millimeters at the tip of it, but down to the actual full good bit of the grip there, you've got about 28 millimeter where you can get those bits round, which is a hell of a sort of amount to be able to grip round different plumbing fittings and whatever else, whether you're either wrecking through something or whether you want to get round a joint, a nut to tighten up. 15 millimeter is like pipe work and whatever else is absolutely no problem for this thing. It's easy to get through, so we'll get round. Then you've got all your indoor tools, your inlay tools. So you've got your awl, which again, like with everything else on this tool, they've just seemed to have done it that little bit bigger, a little bit better. I've got the signal upstairs, and the signal just does not compare to this thing. It doesn't have the same grip and grunge to it that this does. I've torn through some very thin sheet metal with this. I've torn through wood easily. I've made holes through plastic to put sensors and things through. It just chews through anything. The one on the signal, by comparison, is a bit useless. It's not a terrible tool, but this outshines it hands down, no comparison. Then we've got the flat and the terminal or small screwdrivers on there. Unfortunately, I have the other day putting this through its paces a little bit. I don't know if you'll see that very well on the video, but unfortunately I did snap the tip of that trying to undo a very rusty screw. I haven't contacted Leatherman yet, but I'm going to do so and see about getting a replacement for that. But I'm sure that will be no problem at all, because I'm only 1 year into the 25-year warranty. And then on the other side, again, a godsend of a tool, having the replaceable bit driver. Now, having that, being able to have the full set, which I haven't got here at the table, but I have got upstairs. I carry them to work with me every day. The replaceable bits are, you just couldn't do without them. If you're going to get any Leatherman tool that has a replaceable bit section, you need to get the bit drivers, or the bit kit as they call it. I also have the extender and a couple of spare mutt bits that I picked up, which are sort of longer if I need to get into tighter spaces, but a very useful tool to have on there. And then probably the least used tool on here, which they may have been better putting a different tool here for my personal use, but a lot of these things are subjective. A lot of people do moan about the tools they put on some of these things. A lot of people say they'd never use an awl, but for me it's a brilliant tool to have on there. The can opener that we've included on this thing, it's not as useful to me. I have made use of it before. I have opened a couple of cans, more so for the sake of just trying it out, making sure it works. And yes, it does the trick. It does it quite well. I've used it as a bottle opener before. I think I have pried something with it before now, just being able to get into a bit of metal and pry something open. So it has its uses, but there are probably, for my own personal use, there probably could have been a more useful tool that they could have included on there. But all in all, as a multi-tool, I don't think there is a single tool on the market out there that comes close to this thing. It is a godsend of a tool. It is, sorry I keep speaking quite biblically, I keep saying godsend, but yeah, it's a hell of a tool. It's a great piece by Leatherman. Couldn't recommend it enough. If you're going to be considering getting a multi-tool, certainly have a look at these. The one thing I would say with all multi-tools though, go down a shop and look at them firsthand, because this is bigger than I expected, which is great for me, because all the other Leathermans I've tried, they don't fit as well in my hand. This is a hell of a sized tool. I take like a triple XL glove, which is a big old size. So for most people, this would be quite cumbersome to hold and to use. But for me, I can get a real good grip around that, and I can use that quite well. But for other people, it may be a little too large. You may find other tools that are much more suited. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the review. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you feel that you need to do any of those things. But I'll likely see you in the next video. Okay, thanks for your time, guys. Cheers.